Okay guys, so Bandai Namco have posted up a new patch for Elden Ring, and this is patch notes for version 1.03, and there is actually quite a bit inside of this. Some good, some really bad in my personal opinion, and a all new NPC which is going to be uploaded here on the channel in around the next couple of hours, so make sure you keep an eye out for that one. But before we get into it, if you slap the like button, subscribe, post notifications turned on, we've got loads of Elden Ring content coming your way. But this has got a lot to get into, so let's just get into it. So they do state that there is a notice of update distribution. They've been distributing the update to improve stability of the game and just to adjust the balance. They apologise for any inconvenience, but please apply the latest update before you enjoy the game. Now this was the target audience for PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X, S and Steam. And this was a relatively big update. It was well over a gigabyte even just on PlayStation 5. So lo and behold, what it's going to be on the rest of the platforms. Let me know in the comment section, I'm intrigued. Anyway, they have got some major changes included in the latest update, and they add some additional elements that have been added, and these are some pretty cool little features that were put in there. So they added the function to record an icon and the name of an NPC on the map when you encounter that NPC. They also added in an NPC of Jar Brain or Baran, something along those lines, but anyway, I think it's just an NPC that maybe wasn't there beforehand, and apparently it is tied to the quest line of the Volcano Manor, so I'm going to be taking a look into that later on today. Anywho, we'll get the location of where he is in a couple of hours time from this video's upload. They also added new quest phases for the following NPCs: Dialos, Nefli Lu, Kenneth Haight, Gatekeeper Gostok. Man, I am pronouncing names really badly today. But they also added some summonable NPCs in multiple situations, increased the number of patterns of objects players can imitate when using Mimic's Veil, and added night background music for some open field areas. There's a lot of cool things that they've added in as far as the additional elements. I like the fact that they've put the NPCs' names on the map. That is something which is pretty damn big. I think because the NPCs move around so frequently, I think it's good that we've now got the map locations for said NPCs for when obviously storylines come into place and things like that, or you've got a specific NPC that you want to speak to. I think that's a really good factor. Now, because this patch update is so damn large, I will put it all in the description. You'll find the link down there, and we're just going to cover the main parts because there are a lot, and I mean a lot, of bugs that have been fixed throughout this update. One of which was that they fixed a bug that sometimes prevented the player from obtaining items after boss battles. And I didn't know anything about this, but there was apparently some really big problems with this one. And they also have a bug fix which was obviously causing the arcane to scale incorrectly with some weapons as well, which is quite frustrating. They've got a situation where the player cannot obtain more than 2 talisman pouches, added talisman pouch to Twin Maiden Husk's shop line. So you can go ahead and grab that now. That's pretty big news, to be fair. I quite like the idea of that. The fact that they fixed that, plus giving you a free slot as well, is pretty damn good. I don't know whether they've rectified the fact that you've not been able to obtain the other ones. We'll have to look into that one a little bit more. They've fixed a bug that prevented the user from warping to sites of grace from the map at the end of the game, which is pretty damn dumb, if you want my honest opinion. This next one I actually did suffer from, where they fixed a bug preventing the player from moving the next area after the battle with the fire giant. I was pretty much bog standardly stuck where I was, which is quite frustrating to say the least. They fixed a load of scaling issues with weapons, and they've also fixed hang-ups in certain situations and occasions. There was an armor set called the Ragged Armor set from the game, and they've taken that out because it was mistakenly obtainable in a previous patch, which is a little bit strange. I don't really understand it too much, but yeah, they've taken that one out now, so that's now gone. Great, another armor set that we don't have. Fixed a load of visual animations and hitbox issues, and they obviously had test fixes and stuff like that. There was quite a bit as far as the bug patches actually went. They fixed a hell of a lot. Like I said, we covered majority of the main ones, so the rest of them will be in the description. You'll be able to find that article there, but these are just the ones that I kind of feel like would affect you guys the most. It's the balance changes. These are a huge take, because this has kind of essentially made some weapons ineffective to some degree, and some of them are now going to be boosted right up. So they've increased the drop rate of smithing stones from some enemies, which is always good. Getting some more is always helpful. They've added the smithing stone to some early game shop lineups, which again is quite good, although kind of defeats the object of having to get the bell bearings, in my personal opinion. They've increased the shield's effectiveness, which I think was pretty damn OP anyway, so it'll be interesting to see what builds come from that one. I may actually have to work on that one myself. The shields have always been quite a big movement for Elden Ring, so it'll be interesting to see how it is that they've increased that. They've increased the damage of all offensive cracked pot items. Now, this was something which is really underplayed with Elden Ring, and people don't generally tend to utilize these so much. The cracked pots are really underrated in my personal opinion, but this patch in specific actually has quite a lot to do with the offensive cracked pot items, especially with the new NPC actually being a pot, and I believe that the item that you can obtain from it is a talisman which increases the potency of these cracked pots. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out as well. They've increased the damage for the following items, which is spark, aromatic, and poison spray mist. Increased the effect duration of the following items, which is uplifting, aromatic, and iron jar aromatic. They've increased HP healing for Torrent when using the following items: the Royal Raisin, the Sweet Raisin, the Frozen Raisin, which is always good. I feel like Torrent is a little bit, again, it doesn't get utilized all too often when it comes to the raisins, or at least with the more casual players and the more casual gamers. The hardcore players may use them, but it's not generally much of a utilized item for most players. They've reduced FP consumption and increased the damage of the following sorceries, and these are ones you really want to pay attention to: the Glintstone Comet Shard, Comet, and Night Comet. Now, I have used Comet for quite a time, and the FP consumption was ridiculous, but now obviously they have knocked that down. I'm going to be taking a look a little bit later on into how much exactly percentage-wise they've actually done that, and the Comet was really strong anyway, so the fact that they've increased the damage is pretty crazy. They have also increased the damage of the following sorceries: the Gravity Well, Collapsing Stars, and Crystal Barrage, which is always good, and they've decreased the FP consumption of the following sorceries. There is a giant list of sorceries. We're going to put them all on the screen right now, but the FP consumption, one of them in there is Loretta's Mastery. That is probably one of my favorite sorceries in the game right now, which I don't know why, I just find it really enjoyable, and it's really easily obtainable, to be fair, although the location you've got to get to is quite difficult. They've raised the projectile speed and range of Great Glintstone Shard and decreased the Ash of War Hoarfrost Stomp's damage and increased the cast time, which is such a shame, as it was such a bloody OP thing. They've also increased the Ash of War Bloody Slash's self-inflict damage, while slightly lowering the damage and increasing the cast time. They've decreased the weapon skill Sword of Night and flame damage. That is such a big nerf, which has just hammered it, which is mental, to be fair, because that was probably most people's favourite weapon of choice and was one of the community's #1 weapons in the game. So what will overtake it, we'll have to wait and see. It'll be interesting to find out. They've increased the FP consumption and lower duration of Ash of War Barricade Shield, and they've changed the FP consumption timing of Ash of War Prelate's Charge. This next one is something which is okay, I guess, but it's a little bit frustrating. They've decreased the damage of spirits summoned when using the Mimic Tear Ash and changed the spirit's behavior patterns. Other enemies and weapon balance changes have also gone into place. Now, there was a bug which I feel like I may have missed out somehow, but they've actually made a massive alteration and they fixed the bug with the Ash of War, Determination, and Royal Knights Resolved, where the damage buff will also apply to other weapons without that skill. So it is now not going to be able to be utilized for the extensive damage increase, which is kind of frustrating to say the least, as I use that so damn much. But that is pretty much everything that they've got. They've got some other enemy and weapon balance changes, but nothing too crucial that they want to inform it. So we'll have to see where it all goes and what happens to the game in the future. But as of right now, we're going to go and see the new NPC and get that video up for you guys as well. Thank you so much again for watching. Appreciate all your faces. But as always, up until the next time, I'll see you in the clouds.